Alright, what's going on, internet world? My name is Tommy. You might know me as Rivet, and I'm your coach of the Atlanta Braviaries, the highest flying, flyest looking team on YouTube. And we are here with our premiere YouTube video, our draft analysis for the International Showdown League, the ISL Shield Division. Shoutouts to Vex and Celestial and KJ and all the members of the admin team for putting this together. It's looking to be a blast. So let's get into this. Welcome to the workshop. Alright, so we are here breaking down our team for the ISL, the International Showdown League. I'm pretty stoked at how this team came out. I'm really looking forward to playing with it. So for the first pick, I had the number 8 pick, which wasn't super great. Middle of the pack is always kind of gross to deal with. And we had some big hitters go straight away, such as Latios and Garchomp. So I really wanted to lock down a solid dragon straight away because, as I said, a lot of them were going. So with my first pick, I decided to take Hydreigon. Hydreigon's a really solid, versatile mon. It's an awesome special wall breaker. It can run Specs and Scarf really easily. Life Orb, just nasty plot sets, hit wicked hard. And it also has some great utility options. It can run, Defog, and it can run Roost and just be bulky and obnoxious. And having Levitate for that ground immunity straight off the bat is super duper helpful. I've been using this mon a little bit in my own league. Right now, it's actually my kill leader, so I'm very comfortable using Hydreigon, and I think it's a really, really great piece to, kind of build the team around. And as you'll learn throughout this, I love nicknames. I love nicknaming the mons. So this is our Hydreigon, which we're naming Lerny. If you haven't played Hades, get out there. Why are you watching my videos if you're not playing the best indie game that's come out this year?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, no,
go play it.
It slaps. Lerny, he's a treasure. So we're naming our Hydreigon Lerny. Yeah, but Dragon Dark, awesome offensive type, gives us a psychic immunity and ground immunity straight off the bat, which, while it's not a super defensive Pokemon, just having those in the back for pressure is super great. So going into the second pick, I wanted to grab something a little bit more defensive, kind of move towards our Fairy Dragon Steel Core being finished. And in tier 2, I just had to grab it. It was such good value. I decided to grab Skarmory. Skarmory is incredible. A base 140 defense stat is super great. It's just an all-in-one hazards machine. Stealth Rock, Spikes, and Defog. Absolutely fantastic with Roost for longevity. Still flying is such a great defensive type. I just couldn't pass it up. And so this kind of, as I said, moves towards our Fairy Dragon Steel Core. Little bit, passive. It can run Iron Defense Body Press for some offensive pressure. But most of the time, just Iron Head, Brave Bird maybe. But it's mostly going to be stuck in that defensive role. But again, a phenomenal Pokemon, sturdy, great for if I need to live a hit in a tough scenario. Maybe Whirlwind something out. So we got Windshear over here. He's going to be putting in a lot of work for us. Starting off our defensive core, and then keeping with the defensive core. This next Pokemon, something really near and dear to my heart. We're rolling with Adonis the Buzzwole. Adonis, one of my favorite mons to use in draft. Buzzwole is so versatile, it's really great. Runs Rocky Helmet defensive sets awesomely. It's also really offensive with that base 139 attack stat. Absolutely phenomenal. Close combat, hitting super duper hard. Earthquake, dual wing beat, the elemental punches, bar fire punch for coverage. Yeah, it does have that, big weakness on the Spadef side. It really doesn't appreciate those flying moves, but again, we have Skarmory to kind of alleviate the pressure from, big like dual wing beats or anything of the sort, hurricanes, from big flying threats. So some nice synergy working. Obviously, we have a little bit of a fire weakness in our defensive core right now, but it's something I'll try to work to patch up later. But Buzzwole is just such a great mon. It can snowball really easily with Choice Scarf, offensive sets with Beast Boost, and it just, Roost for longevity again. And it just does a great job in any role it needs to do. And of course, look at the man. Like, he is perfection. Adonis, the Greek god of perfection, of beauty, god. No, in my mind, he's the god of perfection. But he's a beaut. And so then, kind of keeping the Ultra Beast train rolling again, kind of like Skarmory. This was just a deal I couldn't pass up in tier 2. Blicephalon. Blicephalon is such an amazing Pokemon in draft, I think. It runs Specs and Scarf incredibly well. It can do some dumb stuff with Calm Mind. And just Fire Ghost is such an amazing offensive typing with 151 base special attack and 107 speed. It's always a threat. You have to prep for it. If your opponent doesn't have a bulky, dark, or normal type, it just kind of wrecks stuff with Shadow Ball, Fire Blast. You know, it can run some physical sets as well. It can do some weird kind of things. It does get Knockoff, Rock Blast, a few very cool things. And this kind of pairs well with Hydreigon, as it's just an absolutely brutal special attacking core. Right now, you know, those big, bulky defensive dark types are kind of an issue, but again, we do have Buzzwole. But Blicephalon, again, a mon I've used in the past. I've used it very effectively, something I really hope that will put in a lot of work this season. And just, again, you know, in Tier 2, like Skarmory, I get it. Like, it's kind of one of those, like, is it a Tier 1, is it a Tier 2? In my brain, Blicephalon is a Tier 1 in tier-based draft, and I was absolutely shocked that it made it to me with, like, what, 36, I don't know, in the 4th round, essentially. So I'm really hoping Blicephalon's going to put in some good work. And at this point, I really wanted a little bit more bulk, something that could round out our Fairy Dragon Steel core. So we're going with the classic Mr. Tibbles, the Weezingale. A great defensive typing in Poison and Fairy. Gives me Levitate again, another Levitate mon, which is great. So ground types I'm always kind of wary of, but right now we're doing great on the ground typing. And then Neutralizing Gas is another amazing defensive ability. You know, if there's something dumb that has like a really great ability that we can completely negate, I'm always a fan. And then, you know, Sludge Bomb, Strength Steam, it's not bad offensively, but where I'm really going to get all of it does, you know, Fire Blast, Thunderbolt. Yeah, so if we can slap like Fire Blast or Flamethrower or Thunderbolt on it, maybe we can, you know, maybe catch some mon that wants to come in and kind of take advantage of its passivity. But, you know, most of the time when thinking about Weezingale, I'm thinking of utility. It does get that Aromatherapy, that Defog, Toxic Spikes, Will-O-Wisp, a bunch of amazing utility options that can help support the big hitters of the team like Hydreigon and Blicephalon. Like those two, especially Buzzwole and Blicephalon, the steamrolling ability that they have with that Beast Boost, with the effect of Toxic Spikes from Weezing and, you know, Stealth Rocks and Spikes from Skarmory, it just makes their job so much easier in that sense. So I love having the Toxic Spike option, and, you know, also the option of running Levitate Weezings, you know, to handle those pesky ground types if they have a better matchup against something like Buzzwole or Skarmory. Or just, you know, having the grounded poison option with, you know, Neutralizing Gas, maybe even Misty Surge if I'm really worried about like some Will-O-Wisping mon that can cause some like havoc for my physical offensive threats. That's totally something that Weezing can handle. It's just all around a great mon. It's a little slow and defensive, but again, it's got a good move pool that handles, you know, certain threats very, very well. Again, a mon I've used in the past, I'm very comfortable with. So I have a lot of hope for Weezing. But completely straying from that, a mon I haven't used in the past. One of Heg's favorites. We got Gastrodon. We got Thunder Snail coming over here, repping the east side because west side Gastrodon is so ugly.
It's not that bad.
All right, blue and green is better than pink and brown. So we're rocking with east side, but Gastrodon in tier 4, another mon I just thought was incredible value. It's so good. That water ground typing with Storm Drain is fantastic. You know, it misses out on Stealth Rock, sure, but besides that, 111 base HP is fantastic with 68 defense and 82 special defense. It's just an all-around great defensive Pokemon that really complements Skarmory in particular. Those two are best buddies, in my opinion. It really appreciates from the hazard support that Skarmory gives because obviously it's not going to be able to provide those itself. Their typings just mesh beautifully, and it really sort of rounds out our defensive core that we're building. You know, and 92 special attack, not exactly anything to sleep on, especially after a Storm Drain boost. You know, Scalds, Earth Powers, Ice Beams coming off this thing, reliable recovery and recover. And it's just a great glue piece to this team that I'm really hoping is going to do some work. I have high hopes for Gastrodon. I think I'll bring it a lot, but I think it's going to do its job very, very well. And so at this point, you know, I'm really happy with the team. I've got a great backbone going. I've got, you know, some great defensive pieces, some fantastic special wall breakers, some cleaning potential. But at this point, what I'm really missing is a pivot, right? So at this point, you know, I'm looking at my mega slot. I'm not really sure what I want to do. But then, it does double 2 of my typings that I have already, but I need a pivot. I need some offensive threat. And so that's where Euthanasia, the Mega Beedrill, comes in. This thing, of course, the glass cannon that is 150 base attack, 145 speed, with that adaptability U-turn, it's as good. That's the word. I can speak.
No, it's the best.
It's as best of.
It's as close to the best as
yeah.
you're gonna get.
It's really solid. It's such an amazing fast pivot. Of course, Stealth Rocks do hinder its usefulness. But again, we do have Skarmory, we do have Weezing, Hydreigon even that can defog for us. And just adaptability U-turns hit so hard and just provide such great utility to the team. And in Mega Tier 3, I just couldn't pass it up. Again, it's a mon I haven't used before, but I think I can use it pretty well. I think it complements the rest of the team and brings in really great opportunities for mons like Hydreigon and Blicephalon to punch some huge holes. Because some of the mons that Beedrill hates, like Steela, for example, completely walls it. Blicephalon comes in, fires off a free Fire Blast. So it's something I'm definitely excited for. I have to use it properly, and I have to be careful of the scenarios in which I bring it in. But I am very excited for Mega Beedrill. It's a really, really cool mon. One of my favorite designs. Yeah, no, it's great. And so keeping on the pivoting train, I wanted something else that could, act as a pivot, but not necessarily like such as a hard pivot. Something that provides me a little bit of a setup threat and some general bulk as well. So I decided to go with Raikou. Euphonic the Raikou. Shout out to my boy Nick, who almost demolished me with a Raikou. A Blunder Policy Calm Mind Raikou once. So that's been pressed in my brain. So congratulations, buddy. This one's always for you. This thing, fantastic. Great natural bulk. Calm Mind threat is always huge. A great move pool, just Thunderbolt, Scald, Aura Sphere, Shadow Ball. 85 attack isn't terrible, so if I really needed to run something like Extreme Speed, I can do that too. It just does everything great. Just spec sets, scarf sets, pivoting around with Volt Twitcher, just setting up a sub and Calm Binding. Thunderbolt Scald is a great combination. It's got some great longevity with sub protect, leftovers with pressure. If you want to run some scum sets. But it's just overall a fantastic mon. Something I haven't used a lot. I have a little bit of experience, but I'm really excited to use Raikou this season. So moving on, I got to fill out my low tiers. I got one more tier 3, a tier 5, and a free pick that's going to be a tier 4. So looking into how I can support Beedrill further, right? Because Beedrill is something I'm really excited about, but right now it definitely needs some support. And one of the things I definitely think that helps it is, handling priority. So my next pick is actually going to be Indeedee Female. Indeedee Male was in the board. I did like the female a little bit better just for its speed tier because I had another pick planned that I enjoyed a little better because 95 to 98 isn't super good with Hydreigon, but Indeedee Female I think objectively a little bit worse, but it fits the team better. A little bit more bulk, can run Assault Bet sets very well, and then just of course expanding Force and Terrain. Absolutely fantastic option. Mystical Fire, super great Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, some decent coverage, and it just hits really, really hard, even with just base 95 special attack. Again, it's great. Psychic Surge, always fantastic. Supports Beedrill so that priority moves can't hit it. Something with big out bullet punch. Don't want to come in and take advantage of Beedrill. Not really going to happen. So I think that offensively it can do a lot, but I'm really counting on Indeedee for a support role this season. So moving on, kind of building on the Psychic Train, Psychic Surge, I'm bringing Bruxish. This thing in Tier 5 was kind of a steal for me, just because Bruxish it's not fantastic, but, Strong Jaw Stab, Psychic Fangs with Terrain, that hits like a truck. And even though it's kind of, hence the nickname, it's so ugly. I hate Bruxish, but like, I'm hoping it'll do good work, and in Tier 5, I think it's a great value. And other than that, Dazzling, if I really need it. Wonder Skin is kind of cheese, but maybe it'll do some work. But yeah, it's just there. It's another offensive threat that can really punch some holes in some stuff because, right now I really only have, Buzzwole and Beedrill and I guess now Bruxish as my offensive threats, I guess you could say. But yeah, I hope it does okay. And then lastly, I wanted a little bit more hazard, some more bulk. So I'm going to go with a Triple H, the Regirock, 200 base defense, nothing to sneeze at. And some decent attack with 100 base attack, 100 base special defense. It's a great rocker. It's got a good move pool. Some stuff just like Stone Edge, Earthquake coming off this thing. I think it gets Heat Crash. But it's a really solid. It's a really solid tier 4 for me. It gives me a rock type, which is always fantastic. And Sturdy is always great. Custat Berry's back in the game now, so I can run some dumb stuff with Sturdy maybe. Yeah, it
doesn't get Heat Crash, but it gets Fire Punch.
All right, Fire Punch, yeah. So it gets a bunch of good stuff. And I'm just excited. I love using the golems just because they're so underrated in my opinion with the bulk that they have. I'm not using golem.
You said you want to use the golems, man. You gotta go all in.
Okay, maybe next season I'm drafting the Railgun. Golem will let himself, you know, the mustached man. But for right now, we're just vibing with Regirock. He's great. You know, body press on that thing with base 200 defense is fantastic.
Zap Cannon. Dynamic Punch.
I'm not running Zap Cannon. Maybe, like, Cheese Battle will run Blunder Policy, Dynamic Punch, or Zap Cannon.
Oh, baby.
That would be funny. But yeah, that's the team we're rocking with. I'm really stoked about it. I've got my week 1 battle against Aphis coming up. So I'll have my team builder and that game coming out really soon. So I hope if there's anybody who's, you know, still watching this at the end of this, I think this might have been a little bit longer than I was hoping for. But I'm so stoked that you decided to stick through with us while I'm rambling. If there's any comments or suggestions or anything that anybody has to make these videos more enjoyable or anything like that, obviously this is my first YouTube video. I'm really stoked to be doing this. It's been a lot of fun, even just talking into a camera for a good long while. So please let me know, drop a comment, send me a DM, anything of the sort. And I really hope you guys will consider coming back for another one. So that's going to be it for tonight. I'm Ribbit. That's Heg.
Hello.
Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. Later.